Welcome to Journey Through the Innerverse. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Alexis. How are you doing?
Hello. I am for the first time in like the last week feeling stable. Like I am at this point in my in time, I am feeling better than I have. Very creative. I'm not sure what it could be that Neptune transitioning into Aries, but I'm feeling that creativity. And like I've been painting every night. I was joking with my friend a little earlier about how like I worked for 8 hours on this one piece and all I got done were eyes. And that like I never want to paint an eye again because it was so taxing.
And you paint
But
so many eyes too. So,
well, and then I was like, just kidding. Like, I'm not gonna
yeah.
stop. I just like my frustration. Like 8 hours focusing on just eyes can just kind of like eat at your brain.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling more stable, and yeah, it helps that today was warm where I am, and I saw some turtles,
Ooh.
and they were out for the first time in months, or like months, like since probably September, October. And they're like little small little turtles and they just kind of like sit on the branches. Though if you walk up to the gate too quickly, they'll like jump off into the river because you
Aw,
frighten them.
so cute.
And at work we had our first seasonal snake. So we
Oh,
get
yeah.
we get where I work, it, underneath where I work is one of the biggest snake nests in New Jersey. And I was just talking about how like recently with a friend or that like another hatching is going to be coming up soon where in like the beginning of summer, midsummer, all these baby snakes hatch. And I walked outside today and saw a freaking snake. And I'm like, oh, it
Yeah.
feels a little early, but welcome. And she was just chilling. Like she was like she had to be maybe like 2.5 feet long,
Oh,
chilling on the stone behind a fence, right over the river, and just taking in like basking in the sun. And I felt that. So today was really good, and I'm definitely feeling more of myself. How are you?
oh. All right, everyone. I'm like the main reason why we didn't show up live
That's not
last
true.
night, real last minute. I'm not going to get into the details, but it's been a whirlwind for me since Monday. It's been pretty wild with the energies. And yeah, so I'm about 95% normal, feeling like myself. I definitely feel that I'm going through some sort of like spiritual initiation in some ways. And there's just like with the planets and everything, there's a lot of transitions. Like last week, Venus and Mercury moved back into Pisces, and then and also Neptune moved into Aries. And so now we're just like really integrating what that might mean or what we might be experiencing. And then thank you, Alexis, for asking me, the astrologer, because I always never really think about myself when it comes to astrology. I mean, I do, but sometimes I'm just caught in the moment. And Alexis was like, oh, do you have anything like any like important transits happening for you right now? And I was like, I mean, there's Neptune and Aries. I feel like that's for what I'm experiencing, I feel like that's kind of on point. But I was hoping that it wouldn't be this intense because I'm like, I got 14 years of Neptune and Aries. But then a little bit later in the day, I was looking at the chart and I was like looking at Pluto and I saw that Pluto is at 3 degrees in Aquarius. And my Pluto in my birth chart is at 4 degrees of Scorpio. And I'm like, holy shit. All right. And I got the Phoenix today as an Oracle card. So I was like, yes, this is on point. Goddamn. Okay. Like, I'm glad that it's like very close. And I'm like, wait, yeah, I think I got to see when that alignment happens because I'm like, is Pluto going to make it to 4 degrees or is it going to retrograde? So, nonetheless, it's been a very transformative, very isolated almost, and like high energy, high anxiety type of like just a few days. And so I had to take a mental health day yesterday, very last minute. And yeah, so here we are. And for the cosmic climate this week, basically, like I said, this is like integration. I mean, we're always in this integration period, but there's not a lot going on this week that we can like really pinpoint, but there is. And I would say with the moon, um, first she was in Uranus, so she made that conjunction to Uranus. And then also now she's in Gemini. So while she's in Gemini, she's going to be interacting with all the Pisces planets. So that is Saturn, Venus, Mercury, also the North Node. And then right when she moves out of Gemini, which is going to be this weekend or probably even tomorrow, she's going to have a square to Neptune. So she's going to have a really dynamic connection with Neptune. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, there's a lot going on underneath the surface. I'm sure your dream space is probably very dynamic and vivid and alive. And yeah, there's so much going on in the external world. So as far as dream transits are concerned, I would say like the end of this week and into the weekend is going to be really powerful for dreams. And yeah, so we are sharing an archive chat. And this archive chat is called Spirit Guides and Dreams. And I think that this is a beautiful time to talk about it, like what I mentioned about the moon, and all of her connections with the Pisces energy, and then connecting with Neptune and Aries. We feel that this is a really good chat to share with you guys. So we hope you enjoy it.
I agree. And honestly, it's so funny because this came out March 13th, 2024, and we are now in what, April 3rd, 2025.
Yeah.
Um, and as I was watching it, I was just seeing the differences in the way that I like felt and the way that I acted and all these other things. And I was kind of like, acknowledging for myself what I'm glad I have overcome, but also what I feel like I lost a little bit. And I give myself some credit though, because I know that the world has kind of been in a crazy place for several months now. But I think after watching that video, I'm really going to work towards like rebuilding my confidence around dreaming and dream work because I dream almost every day, and there's no reason why either of us should feel any type of way about it. But um, in this episode, we are sharing dreams. It's funny because the topic of the number three came up. I thought that was so kind of funny and coincidental that I shared three things and you shared three things. And we talked about three different types of spirit guides. So it's a great episode. I highly recommend checking it out. Yeah, was there anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I want to add that at the end of the episode, so you definitely have to stick with it, but we just go on this random tangent about astral projection. And it was, yeah, someone who was watching and listening in live asked us the question about astral projection in reference to, I know it wasn't, I'm pretty sure it was in reference to the conversation, but we always, open the live chat to ask anything you want, and we'll, come back to that towards the end. And yeah, so I was really excited to hear that conversation. And yeah, so make sure you stay tuned to the end so you can hear a little bit about astral projection. And I'm pretty sure that we have released an archive chat on astral projection in
I
our on
think
our
so.
podcast. Yeah. So if you hear that and that sparks your interest, scroll back to like early in our podcast times or chats, which is not that long. And you'll see one there on astral projection. And so I think that's pretty much it. I do want to make a few announcements. I am teaching a dream class on April 6th. This is called The Dreamer's Quest Journey into the Inner Self. And essentially, in this class, I share my dream practice. And this dream practice is designed to be implemented over a 28-day period, but you can extend it or shorten it however you feel. But what I really focus on with this class and the dream practice is the reflection on your dreams, the integration, and the embodiment. So, like, yes, we all know record your dreams, but what do we do after that? Like, how do we like embody the message? How do we act on the message? And so that's what I focus on in this class. It's an online class. It's on April 6th, which is this coming Sunday, if you're listening to it when we upload this. And it's at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So the registration link is going to be in the description of this video. And then also, our next Dream Circle is on May 6th. And again, we're doing Dream Circles once a month. It's just easier for everyone. And yeah, it's still Tuesdays, 8 p.m. It's going to now be a $10 fee to participate, to be there. Still a small group. But yeah, $10 will give you access to us and just connecting in community and whatnot. So we would love to see you there.
Yeah, our dream circles have been really amazing. And we highly recommend you going and registering and joining us for our monthly dream circles. You really get a lot out of it. I mean, we sit here and talk about our own dreams, your dreams. We help with interpretation and guidance. We talk about different topics of dream work, and it's just really nice. It's really casual. Like, just grab a hot cup of tea and join us for the conversation. Um, and I also wanted to mention Urania and I are now doing a kind of like I guess like a collaboration in a
Mm-hmm.
way.
Yeah.
We're working with a new app that's in development. It's called Dreamigos, and it's a really cool app. You can record your dreams and share them in the dream line, where multiple interpreters can come and kind of giving you some guidance and interpretation with the dreams that you share, or you can simply just use it as a recording app for your own dreams. You can voice record them, you can write them out, and it's a really nice opportunity for you to kind of have like an online dream journal. And it comes with a section where you can actually check out a dream work guide with helpful tips in the learn area. And we might be some of those people interpreting your dreams and giving you some guidance. So if you have Google Play or you have the App Store, download it today. It is in development, so be patient and kind.
Yeah.
The
So
Dreamline can be a little bit laggy, but it is wonderful, and it's really a great opportunity for you to get different perspectives on how your dreams come across to other people, and really guide you to the messages that are coming through.
yeah, and I think what I like about it too is just being able to see what I mean, I'm nosy and I also have that Scorpio. So I like to see, I'm like, what's going on in people's minds and just
Oh yeah.
how does their subconscious speak to them? And also it's really nice to like see what dreams are coming up. And like if you're in a space where you're having nightmares or you're having these really, really weird dreams, like 9 times out of 10, there's going to be someone sharing their dream in the dream line. And you can see that, oh, I'm not alone, or, and you can just like also discover other elements of dreams that maybe you have experienced in a dream in the past. And it's just a really nice place and just to connect and share dreams, right, with many different people. And yeah, it's in development. So yeah, definitely be patient, but we would love to, or if you do join Dreamigos, and that's the information, the link is going to be in the description of this video as well, but I'm going to spell it for you. It's dream and then IGOS. So it's dream and amigos like blended together. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, we hope to see you on that app. Or if you just want to have a place to record your private dreams, like that's awesome too. So yeah, just let us know what you think. And I think that's all. Anything else, Alexis?
No, I can definitely say that with what you said earlier about Neptune in Aries really coming through, and all these different planet placements right now, that the dream space has been wild. I can
Yeah.
absolutely say that my dream space has been wild.
Yeah.
and maybe I'll share those dreams next
Yeah.
week when we're on. But if your dreams have been crazy, please either in the comments below or message us for a share or private interpretation. Like, do that because we'd love to see where your head and where your like dream space is
Yeah.
at right
It's been
now.
crazy, guys. If you're
It has
having
been.
vivid dreams all over the place, like just have grace for yourself. We're all feeling it because you know what? There's a lot going on in the collective consciousness too. A lot. There's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, just a lot of uncertainty. And so, whew, we're feeling it and it's showing up. So we would love to hear about that if you desire to share. All right. Well, we hope you enjoy this archive chat. Let us know what you think in the comments. Like the video, follow us if you're not already following us, or subscribe to our channel. And we will be back with you guys this coming Wednesday, 9 p.m., April 9th, for our chat on Chiron's impact on our dreams. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. All right. Enjoy. The topic for tonight in this live stream is spirit guides in our dreams and how to determine what a spirit guide is. And, aside from it being like a regular dream person or a recurring symbol, and I don't know, just anything, pertaining to spirit and that type of guidance within our dreams.
So, spirit guides, I never really understood until recently. I didn't think too much of it. Like I have said before in previous conversations, when it comes to dreaming, it's always been a huge part of my life. But in regards to the actual nitty gritty details of what to pay attention to and how to use them, I just kind of existed with them like they were memories, not so much intentionally learning about them and understanding them. So I've had quite a few spirit guides in my dreams over the years. And I wanted to share just a few of them, just to, give you an idea of how they pop up in my dreams. Some of them are random. So the first one is a very random dream person, no one I ever met. The second one is a deceased loved one. And then the third one is my favorite author. So, if you're ready, I can start
Yeah.
in
Yeah, absolutely.
that. So the first dream that I'm going to share, it was a significant dream involving a spirit guide, and it was based inside of a warehouse. And basically, the warehouse was huge and gray and cold and just metal. It was just like all of the people lived in this as like a fallout shelter type of deal. There were many like 18-wheeler trailers that filled it top to bottom. It was huge. And it felt just so claustrophobic, and I felt very lonely. And I remember there was this like time cut where people had to get into their trailers, and I had stayed walking around rather than going back to where my trailer was. And I walked down this one aisle and I saw kind of some light peeking out from almost like a crack in the wall. So I had walked over to that wall, saw that the crack was actually like a piece of the wall that was able to be moved away. And I crawled through and closed behind me. And where I crawled through was like a completely different environment. It was sandy, it was bright, it felt warm and loving. Like there was just some kind of really wonderful energy that almost felt like a hug when you walked in. And I'm walking, and people are living in these like kind of like huts. And whether they're cooking with their children or, playing and just doing yard work. I was walking through and they were on both sides of me. So I'm walking down, and in the middle of this like path, I guess, to the right, there's an older Indian man. and Indian as an Indian. I know some people get confused because of the wrong identification for natives. But this was an older Indian man, and he was sitting down on it was a short table, and he was sitting on like almost like a cut log, and there was another log across from him across the table. And he invited me to sit down with him, and he poured me some tea, and he talked to me kind of like a very insightful father figure, telling me how, like, what my worth is, and what he gave me advice that kind of was like
Wow.
pushing me to understand myself and grow and move out of my restraints.
Wow.
And that, I mean, that was a really, really impactful dream because it was during a time in my life where I did feel trapped. So the fact that I had this presence there that was so warm and so loving, so patient and kind, it was exactly what I needed for that period of my life. And when I woke up, it didn't feel like a normal dream. It didn't feel like I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, it felt like I was in a different universe. And it was like this
Mm,
person was specifically drawing me to them so they could hold my hand through whatever I
mm,
was going through.
mm-hmm.
And like I mean like I said, it really was, I went, and you've seen this consistency where I go from cold temperatures to warm temperatures, and
Mm-hmm.
just that's
Yeah.
something that's very evident in my dreams. But like walking from this one environment to the next, it really was just like a warm hug. And yeah, so that was one of my spirit guide dreams where it was just insanely impactful.
Did you
Excuse me.
did you end up taking that advice? That
Yeah.
nice, and it worked out for you?
I mean,
Like in a
it's
sense.
when you are given advice, it's never like an overnight type of deal. But
Yeah,
I thought
true.
back, and I held on to this memory for, I mean, I still hold on to it. And I think about it, and I thought about it a lot, and I thought about what he was saying, and it really helped me to make decisions for my benefit, my health,
Mm-hmm.
my overall everything. And I felt like he was there with me.
So
So
how long ago was this stream?
this was years. This had to be,
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely out of high school. It
Mm-hmm.
had to be maybe while I was in my first couple years of college.
Okay.
Um, and I know that school in general is very difficult for me. So it makes
Mm-hmm.
sense with, I think I was working 3 jobs and going to school part-time. So it was just like, it was a lot. And whatever personal stuff I had going on, I know it was a very chaotic time in my life. So having that warm hug and that figure to just give me everything I needed in that moment was necessary.
Right. I feel like what I wrote, just the nature of the conversation and like the sitting down, it really felt like the Indian as a guru, right?
Mhm.
As like that type of teaching. As I like just personally, I go to a Buddhist temple pretty regularly here in my local area. And that's like, it's that it just tuned me into that act of like sitting there and like listening to these like wise teachings and like really having those deep conversations and reflections. So I was like that feels that's interesting to me. And then when you mentioned cold and just like the shift in weather, for me it kind of took me to a place, and this is not India but just like in Tibet, and that's kind of my connection um of just like with the kind of energy that I was feeling from your dream of just like the teaching, and I felt like it like this quietness and this silence, and yeah, it's like almost, yeah, and it like especially when you said pulling you in to the place, like I could visualize you being pulled in like a portal, like you just like not necessarily teleported but traveled to the place where this teacher was. So
No,
that's
I could
really
like
cool,
that's
that's really interesting.
completely, and it was really cool. I wish I remembered the first part of what he told me because it was some kind of metaphor. because I know he poured us green tea, and as he was pouring the green
Oh
tea, he was
yeah.
making a metaphor about it. But I, for the life of me, cannot remember that aspect of it. But
Yeah.
the whole thing, it was so intentional. It was so like it was it felt purposeful. Like I was being helped. I was being helped through my journey.
Nice. I like that. Okay, so then you said there were two more. Okay.
Yes. So the next one, it was my grandfather who has passed, and at the time he had already
Mm,
passed when this dream had occurred, and it was me in this giant marbled, what seemed like a school that would be like in another country, just like very, very old. And there was a corridor and stairs that led to almost like a campus lounge bar type of thing, or like cafe bar. And I walked in, and from the inside of the school, it was very bright, like lights. And then as you walked into the cafe, it dimmed down to like a purpley blue darkness. And I remember it was very like squished. Everybody was so close together. The tables were so close. Like there was almost no breathing room. And I felt this air of anxiety and judgment, and was
mm,
kind of like spiraling in my own realm, in my own self, in my own head. And I look over, and in the middle of this cafe is this giant potbelly pig just smiling. And he had the little mustache. And I mean, he's standing there just admitting this love, this infinite love. And I knew it was my grandfather. I mean, he had a pig face, but like I could see through that and see his face. Like
Yeah, you could feel the
it was
essence. Yeah.
different. And I could see his smile, and I could just, and he just kind of stood there and smiled and laughed, and just was just this cheerful energy, this light in this space where I felt so claustrophobic and anxious and scared. And he didn't say
Mm,
anything to me, but just him standing there smiling and laughing, it was not just a dream character. It felt like that was my grandfather. And that's the
mm,
one and
hmm.
only time I ever had a dream of him after he passed away. Like
Yeah.
where he visited, like I haven't had a dream like that since that one.
Wow. Did he give you any kind of like advice or guidance,
Nope.
but it was just his presence there? Like did he speak, did he say anything to you or
He
he was
didn't
just
say
there?
anything to me, but I knew what it meant. So
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
even though he didn't say anything to me like words wise, I knew what him being there and what he was trying to tell me without actually having him tell me anything. It
Hmm.
was really
Hmm.
impactful, and I woke up from this anxiety dream feeling actually very happy and relaxed, because once he entered, like once I realized he was there, it was like everything lifted.
Wow. Okay. These are I love when you and I share, like we come together with these topics because there's always a synchronicity, like it between just yeah. Okay. So
I'm so excited. Oh, all
yeah.
right.
All right. Okay,
I'll
so
give my
what's the
last
third?
one, and then I'll
Yeah.
like be done, and we can, you know, you can start
Oh yeah,
just
you're good.
now. So, okay. So the last one has been coming to me in a form, like in the form of my favorite author.
Hmm.
And every dream I've had with him in it has been very comforting. And the most recent one, now there's a consistency in these dreams with him. It's like I'm always making him laugh. And that's really important to me, because it's showing that I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable with someone who I connect with. I know it not personally, but connect with through their work and through just who they are as a person really, really well. And just involving myself with their work has healed really, really, really deep wounds within myself. So every time and one of my biggest struggles with myself is my confidence. And I notice every single time I have a dream where
Mm,
he's in that dream with me, my confidence builds so much. Like it's like I don't really know why per se. I mean, maybe I do. Maybe I do, and I'm just not like diving deeper into it. But every
yeah.
single interaction I have in my dreams with him is very uplifting and very encouraging and building my confidence and my self-esteem. And these are things I struggle with on the daily.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so it's almost like this is healing. This there my whatever is happening, this is here to help me heal and grow and move forward and build what I've been lacking. And I
Yeah.
just it has made a difference in my day to day.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I'm just making notes, of course.
No, 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 please.
Yeah, I mean, this is really interesting. So, listening to your three, and would you say are these like the only three? Are these the only spirit guides you have that come through in dreams, or is there this is just like what you're sharing tonight? Like, there's
There
more for
are
you.
so many that I have
Yeah,
had. These are just what I'm sharing tonight. Like if I sat down
gotcha.
and did that, like
Yeah,
if I shared all, because I'm kind of not even going too deep into the dreams. I'm just giving you an
yeah,
idea of what it's
yeah,
like. I have so many dreams where I have spirit
yeah,
guides come and like guide me through different things, and I'm
yeah,
only now realizing how much of an impact it has.
yeah. So, one of the connecting things after like listening to your dreams, and I'm going to share mine, which actually, when you said three, again, there's that number of three, right? That strong power of the number three. I instantly thought of three examples that I had, which I didn't even really think of initially. I was just planning on sharing the one. And now I'm like, okay, I do actually have three, and they kind of connect with these 3 points here that kind of stood out to me in your examples of spirit guides in your dreams. And that is these 3 points with the guru, well, I'm calling guru, but the Indian guy. This was that felt like a teacher, like guidance, like something of a strong spiritual nature, maybe, just in the nature of what you shared tonight. This spirit guide is like someone that you really don't know and feels very spiritual in that sense. um so I guess my share on that, like my similarity or synchronicity with that guidance and maybe like teacher role and spirit, like literal spirit guide, like that strong connection to spirituality for me would be Basset. So Basset is the Egyptian cat, right? And she has actually, there's two aspects, and there might actually be more, but initially from the my research and studies, and also even connecting with this energy, is that Sekhmet is like that dominant aspect of Basset. Like it's Basset and Sekhmet. So Sekhmet is the fire energy, the fire goddess, like kind of like the wrathful goddess that was just like, there's a whole story of how she was came forth to bring order to humanity, and a similar story to Kali, where there was a lot of bloodthirst, kind of got out of control, and they had to basically like calm her down in a sense. And so the calmer aspect, the chill aspect of her is Basset, right? And then you get the sun and moon, with the sun being Sekhmet, the aspect of Sekhmet, and then the moon being the aspect of Basset. Well, I've always been super connected to cats, specifically, of course, black cats I've been drawn to. I had a black cat when I was a toddler. And of course, everyone sees my cat Wednesday in my videos. And so when I began to even just consider doing a dream circle recently, I started seeing Basset. Like, I mean, and I have, pictures and even like a little statue of Basset up there. And I've had that for years, but I don't know. It was like more prominent. It felt more like in my face. And so as I'm preparing to do the dream circle, and there was like, I was diving deep into the Egyptian mythology. I felt other Egyptian goddesses coming through to really connect um, in the dream circle. But for some reason, it was Bassett. She was there, and the reason why I knew that, and it was funny because I almost didn't include her. Like she was not the like she wasn't one of the um like I had three goddesses, and I like to work in threes. So I'm like, okay, it's these three goddesses, and that's what we're doing. And I had a dream, and the theme of the dream, it was so wild. It was so cool. The theme was black, and like the color black. And I saw, like, I knew her, like, it was like I saw her, but I didn't, like, I could feel her presence, just this like strong, big cat energy. And I've had astral travels, like deep meditation travels, um, back to ancient Egypt, and I had two big black cats that were essentially my guardians. And so I felt that energy in the dream, but it was only one at this point. And yeah, there was like the black emoji, like the dark cosmic starry sky. And it was just like scenes popping in. And I felt the whole time it was like this presence of Bassett. And I don't know, when I came out of the dream, I felt so like activated. I felt excited. And naturally, I'm like, what's the color black? The symbolism in a dream. And when you go to see what black means, it's not necessarily good symbolism. But for me, black is literally my favorite color. I always use the black
Yeah.
emoji. So it just made sense. And then the black, like the presence of the dream just felt like so regal. It felt like the priestess energy that I connect with. And I just knew, I'm like, okay, this is Bassett coming through. And I didn't really think of it at the time, and really not until, having this conversation right now, that definitely, she's a spirit guide, my spirit guide coming through the dreams, like an actual spirit guide for me that I know of, coming through
Yeah.
the dreams. And as of like, I think it was last week, as I'm preparing to just get ready for the dream circle and get the website and everything together, I started seeing Bassett everywhere. Even, I saw her online on Instagram, then a friend sent me another picture of Bassett. And it was just like I was seeing a lot of her. I haven't seen her in dreams yet, and watch me see her in a dream tonight.
I hope
But it's like
so.
it's something about the nature of this work and coming together in community. She's very strong, and I know this is her realm, the astral realm, and just the mysteries and the hiddenness. And so I really felt like her guidance. I felt that spirit, like literal spirit guide energy from her in the dream. So that was one. Yeah, any
I love
thoughts on
that.
that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, right off the bat, like when you mentioned that, black is generally not seen as like a good color, I feel the same way as you. Black is one of my favorite colors. It feels right. It doesn't feel bad ever to me. It feels like two sides of a whole. So like the light and the
Mm-hmm.
dark, like they're both equally as important. And in order to have balance, integration is really important. And I almost feel like it's a part of that is
Mm-hmm.
calling in for more of that integration. But
Yeah.
also just like I love the energy, like that big black cat energy, the
Yeah.
seeing her all over and feeling excited and activated, because that to wake up in the morning and just feel so inspired and activated and ready to go, like it's almost like, hey, I'm here with you through this. I
Yeah.
got your back, and I know you can do this, and it's going to be fantastic, and I'm going to be here along with you. So like
Yeah.
that is so powerful, and I love that so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. I wish that's one of the dreams. If I was an artist, like a painter or drawer or anything, I would definitely sketch something of that, because it's just the essence of it was so like, it was so mystical, like the night sky. It was amazing. Every time I like tune
You
into
should
that.
still do that. Like, even
Yeah.
though you're not good, like, or you don't feel as though you're good, you should still sit
Yeah.
down and
No,
try to
I
sketch
should
what
do
you
that.
saw. Because
Yeah.
even if it's not how you want it to be, it's still representing something really important visually that was you experienced.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, and I feel it so strongly still. So it would definitely translate really nicely, I feel. All right. So the second main point here that came through. So the first one, just to remind us and everyone, is that it was the actual spirit guidance or mentor, teacher, which, Bassett kind of played a role in as far as like all the things that I'm going to mention here, but I definitely felt her just naturally as a spirit guide, as a mentor and a teacher in general for me. So I connected her with that point. The next point is the feeling, like nothing having to be said, or just their presence brings a feeling of support and of comfort and of love in a way. Um, and so you mentioned your grandfather. And of course,
Mhm.
I thought of my grandmother. And it's interesting because my grandmother and I have like our relationship in my dreams is really intense because of like the history of just how and my grandmother passed away 20 years ago. And honestly, like I haven't been it now. This has been about a year since I actually came like face to face with healing or like really fully processing the grief. And of course, it's ongoing, right? Um, but yeah, so in the past, when she showed up in my dreams, it was like I shut it down right away, which is probably another reason why I didn't give attention to my dream space, which, synchronistically enough, this year or like last year is when I started getting into the dream, like writing the dreams and paying attention. And it simultaneously, I have, confronted and healed and connected with my grandmother on a deeper level. So I'm already seeing the connection there. And so I definitely feel like my grandmother as a spirit guide in my dreams. And that also translates to waking life as far as like, I feel at times that I'm picking up the work that she didn't finish, such as she was really into, like, she was getting her PhD in clinical psychology before she passed away. She was definitely into, she was very, very spiritual. She was she was a writer, journaled all the time, just so many things that we have in common, but specifically the spirituality and the science and just curious about consciousness and things of that nature was definitely my grandmother's passion. And naturally, I'm just, picking that up as well and moving forward. So I feel her guidance. And, now it's gotten to a point as of really, really recently. And I think it was on the last dream chat that we had, I shared that I actually talked to my grandmother in the dream. And I don't usually talk, like, even now, I will, up until now, but even as far as like a couple months ago when she would pop up in my dreams, I would kind of keep my distance still. Depending, sometimes I would be really excited, but I wouldn't engage. In the last dream, I did engage and I got some insight. And so, yeah, I think that, but I knew that feeling there, I know that I feel I'm able to accept now that her presence is protective and it's comforting for me, especially in the last dream where the switch between her and then what appeared to be an ancestor in the dream, she was very warm and loving, and this other energy was not, right? And I've been doing ancestor work and healing, and I've heard, of course, that not every ancestor is going to be like nice and friendly, and so it was interesting seeing the shift in energy and how I felt this whole time. I did actually feel safe with my grandmother. And, so I thought that was interesting. An interesting connection there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. First off, the fact that you are kind of traveling down a similar path as your grandmother with these things, I love that. I feel like that connects you in a way that is different than just connecting like emotionally and healing and thinking about
Yeah.
memories. Like you're going down a similar path, you're interested in the similar things.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost feel like she's always there, no matter what. Like she's always there by you. It's like you're continuously connecting even when you don't feel her. Like even when you're
Mm-hmm.
awake, she's always there. So I find that really interesting and I love that. And also the fact that she kept you safe. That's something that's really important. And I feel like that's really why certain aspects of my dreams, certain characters in my dreams are my spirit guides because they make me feel safe, all three of those encounters that I had talked about, they made me feel safe. And I think that's such a
Mm-hmm.
strong and important feeling to have. So when it does come through, especially with it being someone you have known personally and loved and cared about deeply, it
Mm-hmm.
it just has a different effect. And
Yeah.
I love that. Have you dreamt about her since?
No. No, she hasn't been in my dream since. Mm-mm.
Watch, she's also in your dream tonight.
I know, right? It's just gonna be everyone.
All of your spirit
Yeah,
guides
and
are
I
just gonna be like,
yeah,
"Hey, what's up?"
yeah, no, it's interesting. I love it. All right, so okay, the third point that stood out to me is the playful energy where it's there's still like I mean at the core of each one of these like these three spirit guides there's still like guidance and uplifting or some sort of I mean in dreams there's an intention there really the intention to heal in a way but um with this third one it just feels really playful and this inspirational kind of connection and so my third one is I'm almost embarrassed to say is Kim Kardashian. And this
Do
is
not
like
be
not someone
embarrassed.
I
Don't
know.
be embarrassed.
I know. And I had
I'll
to
say the author of who like I dreamt
yeah,
about just to name
I
drop
feel
and
like I'm
be
like
right
blushing.
there with you. I should
Yeah.
have. I just didn't. I
Well,
just
no, I mean I think yeah, it makes sense that yours would be anonymous. Like for me, I mean, I guess I could say like, oh, celebrity, but I think it's this is I so I'm just gonna say like okay the car keeping up with the Kardashians is my guilty pleasure. I've been watching that show since I don't know I guess I was in my early 20s. I'd like to like before I was like oh I feel like I was younger than that. I was like a teenager and then I realized they hadn't been around that long and I was like oh shit I was like in my early 20s watching this but still an adolescent really.
yeah.
So no shame. But I think one of the things that, well, firstly, Kim Kardashian in my dream. So I would say, I mean, she wouldn't be someone I would consider or I did ever consider up until recently as a spirit guide. Like she's specifically a spirit guide in my dream space. And I've realized this because I have had like she's been in my dreams like all the time and it's just like random dreams where I shared one last week which this one I think is where I felt I was like oh yeah there's something to her popping up in my dreams now it's starting to feel like she's like my cheerleader or she's a spirit guide she's here to like she's like my best friend that just loves me and is like cheering me on with whatever I'm doing. And so I shared a dream last week when we were talking about engaging with dream people. And yeah, I think I think I shared that dream. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Anyways, and yeah, in that dream, she had the whole dream. It was her and her two of her sisters. The whole dream, they were basically supporting me and showing up for like some sort of competition, or I was like having to be seen for whatever reason. And I had to show up like naked. And the whole thing was like I had to I had to take a shower, and somehow that changed into okay, I'm going to take a shower. I have to take a shower, but people are going to be watching. And then it was like, well, I don't really care about people watching me, but I'm not groomed. I'm not ready, which speaks to just me and the nature of being seen publicly. Like, I'm never fucking ready. I have a lot of Capricorn. It's like everything has to be perfect. And like, yeah, I can never learn enough, you know? And so I knew, I think, you know, just internally, I had things coming up, such as the dream circle and things of that nature. And I knew I would be busy and I just had to show up and not run and hide and, you know, connect with you all. And so that was a big part of the dream, was showing up. And I'm not going to give the whole dream because, you know, you can go back to the other dream chat and watch that. But, you know, she was like cheering me on. I felt so confident after that dream. I felt so happy. I was yeah, it was the day, it was the morning of when we were going to have a dream chat. So I like showed up like with like black lipstick and like in my whole full like black get up, ready to, you know, just when
Yeah.
I'm trying to get dressed up. And it was fun. It was so much fun. And last week she showed up in my dream. It was her and her ex-husband, and for some reason they were getting married again, or I don't know if they were getting married. And I was there, and there were like two of my other friends there and like some other dream people that I didn't know, but they were my friends in the dream. And we were all sitting there at the tables, and I remember being so excited because I was like in the bride in the like I was a bridesmaid, right? I was a part of the wedding party and no one knew. So I was excited to be like, oh my gosh, I'm like a part of this wedding party. And I can't wait for my friends to like know, which I woke up like, what was that? Like, who cares? Um, but it's so interesting. I do recall every time I wake up from dreams that she's in, there's almost like this like feeling of shock, like, oh my goodness, like, you know, we're friends, or, in the dream world, and just like confusion. But after the most recent dream, or actually like 2 weeks ago, I realized, I'm like, okay, I see her presence. And I know, as you know, when I was in my early 20s, she was someone that I like really looked up to. And like even getting older, she has she has 4 kids. She has a bunch of businesses. And yeah, she's not perfect. She could do things better. We all can. But like just the nature of like, damn, this bitch is like, she's running it, you know? And I'm an entrepreneur myself. And so it's very inspiring to see her doing her thing. And so I think that's where it comes through, as far as like her showing up as a spirit guide in my dreams. I wouldn't say she's a spirit guide in real life. But I mean, if she was, that's fine. She's
Yeah,
definitely
whatever.
inspirational. Right. And
Yeah.
I felt like the dreams that I had tend to have with her in it are usually always playful, fun, and inspiring. And so I felt that connection with, when you talked about your dream with the author, and
Yes.
how like you're always making him laugh. Like it's just a
Yeah.
funny situation. So yeah, yeah. So
No, I love that. I love the consistency. So, um, the the author that I have been experiencing a lot of dreams with lately, his name's Neil Gaiman. So he wrote books like
yeah.
Coraline. He wrote Good Omens, American Gods, stuff like that. When I was a kid, I had saw Coraline and it had a huge impact on me, but I didn't really know much about the author. It wasn't until I became an adult where I started getting into his other works that I really got to understand him as a person through his work and really connect. And there's been a consistency with his work where after I involve myself, like after I read or watch or whatever, I am almost pushed by it to face very vulnerable like things that I never
Mm.
would have faced in the way that I've been facing them without it, even like the weirdest thing that had nothing, like it was a show and it had nothing to do with any of what I healed from, but for some reason dealing with that helped me heal a lot of my trauma around 9/11, which has been
Mm.
really intensely involved in my life for a very long time because my dad was a first responder. So I carried a lot of
Mm.
that. And this
Oh.
past year when I got really into his work, a part of that wound healed. It was like it had been like a something that just kept being cut open and never fully healing. But after this year and involving myself with this author's work, I feel like it is almost completely healed, and my vulnerability around it, I just feel lighter. So
Mm-hmm.
when I experience him in my dreams, it is very playful. It is very playful, and it builds my confidence. And I do wake up similarly, where I wake up and I'm like, okay, I know today is going to be a day where I feel myself, where I was encouraged to be me in
Mm-hmm.
all of the realms and not hold back and take chances.
Mm-hmm.
And, that the facing the vulnerability and building, like, because when you're playful, it means that you're comfortable. You have a familiar, like, they're like a familiar person to you. You're not just playful I mean, you might be playful with a stranger, but it's not the same as being playful with somebody you're close to. And I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
close to
true.
this person. I'm assuming you're not close to Kim K. But in
No,
our
y'all
dreams,
would know.
we are close
Yeah.
enough for them to accept our vulnerability and accept us for who we are and help guide us and build our confidence. And I love
Mm-hmm.
that so much.
Yeah.
It's just such a powerful, strong thing. And even if it feels a little goofy, like, it's important. It's so
Yeah.
important. And I love that. Yeah, we had these three parallels. Because
Yeah.
going, like, just for context, we don't share anything really before we get
Yeah.
on chat. We get on chat and then we share.
Yeah.
So it's just
We're
funny
constantly sharing about dreams, but then yeah, we're like, okay, what points are we gonna like talk about, or just really
the
honing
theme.
in the direction of like, yeah, the theme of the chat. But yeah, so we don't really know. Like sometimes we know a little bit about the dreams, but I didn't know. I knew of one that you were going to share. You knew one that I was going to share, which is the
Yeah.
last ones, because we've been laughing about these for a little bit. So
Yes.
I think, yeah, this is really cool. And what's also interesting that I wanted to point out is that, at the end of the day, as always with anything regarding dreams or really anything, you want to connect to your intuition above all else, right? So these were the three connections that I felt were like the core, points or energy of what we consider to be a spirit guide in our dreams. And that might resonate with you and might be in alignment with your spirit guides, but there also might be things that we didn't hit on that, help you to determine, who your spirit guide is in your dreams. And so, as Alexis said, she has several spirit guides. So we didn't even, get down to the nitty gritty and start like listing everything to see if what other connections or really key points there are when it comes to, deciphering or discerning what is a spirit guide and what's not. I did do like a quick little, Google search to see, what people were saying as far as, okay, this is, a spirit guide, or this is how I know a spirit guide's in my dream. And usually what I was seeing as far as like in similarity is that the spirit guide and this might be if it's like just a dream person, like maybe you don't have a connection with, but a spirit guide is usually someone giving you some sort of literal direction, or maybe not literal, like go left or go right. Maybe it's more so giving you some direction in life or like heads up. And actually, I almost forgot this. And wow, I'm so glad that I brought this point up because recently, I think we were talking about lucid dreams or engaging with dream people. And I had a dream. It was a part of it was a dream I had with my grandmother. And I don't remember what was happening in the dream per se, but I remember this was like right at the end of the dream. It kind of like my dream stopped and I felt like I was literally like the scene was just black, right? And there was like a voice, and I'm getting goosebumps just saying this. There was a voice that kind of came from the sky and said to wake up from your dream is to wake your grandmother up from her dream, which, and I don't remember if those words were the exact words. I definitely know to wake up from your dream. That was like how it started. Um, and it felt like I never heard that before. I've never experienced that in dreams. It felt like a presence, like if what you would think God would sound and feel like. It felt like that presence. It was a masculine energy as well. And it didn't feel like anything familiar. And so I've been asking, okay, what can I learn more? What does that mean? Or can you clarify? Because I like the exact words were a bit hazy. And like I said, I have been doing ancestral, work and healing. And so I definitely know that it's in correlation to that. It's in reference to that. So that also can be that definitely was a spirit guide. That was something. And
Absolutely.
that was definitely that experience of giving literal guidance and direction information in the dream, right?
Yeah.
So that's something too that may or may be a spirit guide. And of course we want to be discerning with these energies showing up in dreams, because it could be telling me something that isn't in alignment with what feels right for me. And so that's when you really want to question, like, what is this energy coming through if it's not familiar and you don't have history with it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Especially like something so powerful. You almost don't know what to do
Mm-hmm.
with it. And
Yeah.
what you like, it opens so many different doors and unanswered questions, and trying to seek that might not come right away. You might not get those answers for a little while.
Yeah. I still haven't, connected with whatever that was,
Yeah.
to get direct clarity. Also, I've been really busy.
Me
And
too.
so, yeah. And it's been like, I think was only like 2 weeks ago, but yeah, I've been so busy where it's just like, ooh, the message could have came and whoops, can
Could have
you
just missed
please
it.
send again?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
totally missed it.
I've been doing the same thing. Like I had a couple dreams that were really intense, but normally it's every single day. And there have been a few days over the last weekend, like this past weekend, where like nothing kind of came through. And I think it's just because I've been so busy focusing on what
Mm,
all these things that I need to do in my waking realm that my dream realm has become a little bit more pushed to the side. I mean, I'm still dreaming a lot. It just wasn't what it usually is. But
yeah,
yeah, I'm hoping that the next like week everything will settle
yeah,
down and I can really like pay attention better.
yeah, yeah. I'm getting back in the swing of things because I will be honest, I have not been writing my dreams. And it
Me
was
neither.
funny because I still remember them, but I like to write so I can like go back and see, because you don't remember everything. And it was funny because I rarely write like my dreams in the middle of the night because I don't want to turn a light on, but there was a dream that I was like, I can't forget this. And as always, I wrote it in the middle of the night and started scribbling, like writing over what I just wrote. And I took a picture and showed Alexis. And I was like, see,
Yes.
every single time, I'm like, what does this even say? Like, it's all over the place. So I don't know. I will say also, I've noticed a change in my dreams, surprisingly. And I'm so grateful. So, I'm enjoying the experience. But my dreams, I haven't really been having anxious dreams. And this is the time of my moon cycle, my menstrual cycle, where like I'm deemed to have an onslaught of anxious dreams. And I haven't really had anything. I've been having a lot of dreams, but nothing like intense. And honestly, I think one of the biggest things for me personally, and you all should try this out if you're able, but not sleeping with your phone, next to your bed or literally in your bed. I used to sleep with my phone in my bed next to me. Then I would put it on my end table, like I switch it up, whatever. And now I don't. I don't have to, get up early and be anywhere in the morning. If I do, I will put my phone on my dresser at least. Um, but I've noticed the times that I do fall asleep with my phone next to my bed, like I wake up pissed, like in the middle of the night, because I have like crazy dreams, like where I wake up sometimes and I feel like I can't even breathe. And maybe
Oh,
it's a mental thing, I don't know. But I get up and I'm pissed. And I'm like, why is my phone because I've had such a habit of not having that there. So yeah, I don't know if that's if that's the reasoning, why my dreams have been the way they are. I still have anxious dreams, but just not in the capacity that I was experiencing them,
Mhm.
months ago. So I'm grateful that my dreams have been pretty chill and really interesting. So I've been getting back in the flow of writing them. Of course, that's going to be a major part of the dream circle is writing our dreams. And yeah, we'll talk more about that here too and share with you all what you can expect from the dream circle. So we are up on the hour, and I'll just like look through. There's been some comments here in the chat, so I will just see Jim saying hi, and there's a question about astral projection. I'm just like, ooh, do I want to open that box?
I know. I was
Open
gonna ask you about that too because I actually don't
it.
know if I've ever like I've never intentionally astral projected. That doesn't mean that I haven't in general, but I don't
Yeah,
I've never No, that's a lie. When I was in high school, I intentionally tried. It didn't work. It was once. I never tried again. But I wanted to learn more about that because I would like to
yeah.
include that in my like life more.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so Jim's asking describing a formula for separating or maybe just um the set just describing the difference between a dream from astral projection. And just in my experience, I think that I personally have an easier time doing that, or like it's easier for me to astral project because of the sleep paralysis. This is
Mhm.
something I read. Like I read it after I did it unintentionally, and then when I had sleep paralysis, very soon after I did it unintentionally, I was able to astral project. And but the time I did it unintentionally, I was already in the space of I was already having sleep paralysis, like in that moment. And I don't know what it was, but I'll just share briefly. I've shared this, I feel like a lot. But I was in bed sleeping, and the house that I lived in at the time was very active with spirits. It was on a battleground in Boulder, Colorado. Um, yeah, it was like Flagstaff Mountain. So there was definitely a lot, I'm sure a lot of casualties and really horrific things happening there. I literally the only time I've ever seen an actual ghost, because I feel them, I don't really see them, was
Yeah.
in that house. And I was like it was actually the second time, or the time I intentionally astral projected. Then I saw a ghost. That was the whole thing. But yeah, so anyways, I had like fell asleep, and I ended up, having sleep paralysis where I woke up, but it wasn't alarming. It was weird. Like usually when I have sleep paralysis, I freak out, but I wasn't freaking out. And I think that's a major key. And I remember not being able to move, and I felt my phone vibrate. And so I looked at my phone and I saw that one of my friends had texted me. And it's like I looked at the phone, and maybe something in my conscious mind or my unconscious or whatever like clicked, like, oh, I'm dreaming, because there's things that you can decipher. I know, like looking at like asking the time or whatever. And that was one of my key things at that time, was like time. And so anyways, I guess I unintentionally knew that I was dreaming, and or that I was like in the in between. And it just happened where I didn't project in a way of like lifting per se, which happened the second time, but I essentially, it was just like I felt light, and my perspective changed. If like you're watching, like if you're doing virtual reality type games or experience where it's like that first view perspective or whatever. So it was that, and I was literally like hovering, floating, and I floated down to, like, my room was upstairs, so I floated down to the main floor. And I remember like I floated to the balcony to look outside the window, and then I saw a cat, like a white cat, which I would never do this in real life, but I saw a white cat by the back balcony, or by the back patio door. I picked up the cat, and I like glided or floated to like the other stairwell, because there was like a stairs going down to the actual ground floor to go out. And I threw the cat over the stairway, And then I like floated back upstairs. I freaked out, floated back upstairs, and then I projected back into my body and I woke up. And the crazy thing is, as soon as I woke up in waking life, I looked at my phone and that friend did, in fact, text me. And I was like, whoa, what was that? And that never happened again. But then I started looking into, I'm like, what the hell was that? Was that really astral projection and whatever,
Yeah.
whatever? And I looked into it, and that's when I learned, I happened to just come across people who have sleep paralysis, can, in those moments, you can astral project. And so I actually did that very shortly after that experience because I had sleep paralysis, and then I just focused on astral projection. And that was very quick because I was more conscious with that. And as soon like I floated up to the ceiling, looked at myself, like my body freaked out. And then as soon as you freak out, you wake up.
Yeah.
So, but I woke up in sleep paralysis, like back in the sleep paralysis. And I looked in front of me, and that's when I saw the ghost sitting at the edge of my bed. And I was like, so I would say the difference between astral projection and a dream, who's to say, in the sense of, are they not in the same realm? I would say, like, if we're thinking about the dreams that when we think about dreams in itself, the nature of dreams just in general, like we're not conscious, like we don't have any control of what's going on. And maybe during an astral projections experience, I feel like that's just the act of projecting from your body, or the spirit projecting from your body, but you have, for the most part, like some sort of control. Like I feel like I wasn't doing things that I would normally do. And so I don't feel like I had control, but I had some sort of conscious awareness. Right. And
Yeah.
that's like lucid dreaming as well. But lucid dreaming, like I don't even know, that could be almost like the same thing,
Yeah. I
like the
mean,
astral projection, yeah, into a lucid dream or being lucid.
that's a really good point too, because I was watching some one of the episodes on Gaia about dreaming and the parallel worlds that, could be occurring when you're dreaming. Like, is it like what exactly is dreaming? Is it, there's so many different ideas, but then on the other hand, there's also this possibility that it could be like parallel worlds. And
Yeah.
how astral projection interacts with that too is like it's this whole thing is so interesting. I love this so much.
Maybe we need
So
to do another dream circle later, doing practicing on astral projection.
we
That'd be so
should.
cool. That would be
Yeah.
so cool. And, I think it was in the same period, I read accounts of people, like, actually, I have a friend who I'm pretty sure he's actually successfully astral projected. And there's a whole like meditation and guidance to get you there, because there's like you can do it as far as like with breathing exercises, and it's similar to lucid dreams, where you want to do it in that specific time window, in like really really early in the morning, like around twilight, right, where you're kind of in the in between. And there's like, he was telling me that there's like some breathing exercises and stuff to like get you to that space where you can really astral project. Because I know that he said the first time he did it, he like sunk down into, like, he felt like he was sinking down in his mattress, and he like freaked out because he was like, I don't want to go down. We're supposed to go up.
Like in the movie Get Out, like sinking into the
Yeah.
couch.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I actually thought too when he said, I was like, ooh, yeah. He was like, I don't want to go down. But actually, now that I am saying that, I remember recently, what was I looking at? Oh my gosh. I don't know if it was astral projection. Maybe it was on Gaia, to be honest. I think it was something that like a preview for something. Maybe it was astral projection, but I'm gonna have to look after this now. But I saw like the picture of it was like sinking. It said something about sinking downward. I saw it somewhere. It was either on YouTube or
No, I think you're right. I think there was because when I look up on Gaia, I look up dreams specifically because even
yeah.
though the other things are interesting, what I'm interested in right now is dreaming. And I was
Hmm.
looking into it, and one of the things I think it did say astral projection sinking into the mattress or like falling in. down
Yeah.
underneath the mattress or something like that. Because I think I saw this. I didn't watch it,
Yeah.
but I think I
Yeah.
saw the
Okay. So we're
the
gonna have to look.
icon. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. This might have to be like the next topic that we talk about. And I'll have to see if my friend is free at all to join us because that would be amazing. This was something that I think I don't know, it was like a guy, it was a person, like a teacher, like some sort of spiritual like person that was known to like have this technique. And it wasn't really shared that much. And he started doing this was like probably at least 10 years ago. He was doing this. He said he hasn't done it in a while. Um, but yeah, it was like he is like really into it. It would kind of, I think it would be hard for me to do just because, I have the little. And so
Yeah.
to have that space in the morning, I don't get that.
Just
But
keep her up a
at
little
least
later so she wakes up a
right?
little
Yeah,
later.
right. I could do the lucid dreaming, but I don't know, maybe because I haven't really intentionally done that. Oh yeah,
Hmm.
so what I was going to say is that I've read accounts of people when they astral travel or astral project, they end up like floating around, say like they go out of their house and like float around and like go check on I don't know, go check on people or do
No,
things.
you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm in the middle of a book right now on astral projecting, and it's a scientist who's a part of a sleep study group. And I think this was in like the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
And the people in his like sleep group, he would go down for his astral projection and he would take notes of everything that he experienced and he would call up his friend and be like, "Hey, I tried visiting you. This and this is what I saw. Did this happen?" And they would be like, "Yes, every detail that you just gave me is exactly what we just did." And I'll give you the name of the book because it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh my
But
gosh. Then we're
I
gonna be like, who's watching?
I want to
Oh, I
explore
love
this
this
realm
stuff.
really badly.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is so exciting. Thank you for sharing that, asking that question, Jim. So let's see. Any more comments here? There's some people saying hi. Hi, Jean. Hi, Isabella. Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you are tuning in later, watching the replay, and if you're here now, please feel free to like this video if you're enjoying this. So more people can find this chat. And we are going to be doing this every week on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And yeah, if you have any topics that you would like for us to chat about, leave those in the comments below. If you would like to share a dream and, have us share our interpretation. I always feel a way about interpreting people's dreams. Like we don't have to. I mean, it's fun to
Mhm.
share it, but yeah, we'll definitely, interpret it if you want to, or just give you what stands out to us. Is that's how we kind of do with each other, because at the end of the day, it's your dream. You'll know what it means, right? And so, but we are here to just give insight as we've had a lot of experience with this, and just love to explore and learn from each other. So if you want to submit your dream, please do that at connect@uraniauniverse.com, and we will choose a dream there to share and interpret. And I think, oh, what I meant to say is at the beginning of the video, I did mention Rachel Fletcher's article on starting a Dreamwork practice. The link for that, if you want to check it out, is going to be in the caption of this video also. So that's there as well. So thank you, Rachel, for sharing that. That was really fun. And I just really appreciate and love connecting and sharing on dreams. It's just like, it's endless. Like it's an infinite
It
source,
is
just
infinite.
like astrology. Like it's like there's no end in it. There's so
Yeah.
much like wisdom, healing. There's just I love it. I'm so glad that I am really feeling so confident in this journey now to dive deep into the dream space.
And I appreciate you for having a platform for it because this is something that's so important to me. And to find people who share the interest and share the experiences it's a blessing. It's really fantastic. So I appreciate the space that you create for all of us.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm so glad that you're here sharing this with me. So, any last things you want to say, or Do you feel pretty
Yeah.
good?
Just one last thing. For anyone who wants to submit a dream, to be interpreted, you can submit it anonymously if it is an uncomfortable dream or an explicit dream that you don't feel comfortable attaching it to you publicly. Like, feel free to say in your email, this isn't, or in your, yeah, in your submission, I would like to go anonymous with this. And we
Yeah.
are very accommodating when it comes to that. We
Yeah.
understand, like, even some of the dreams that I like share or want to share, there's a part of me that's like, oh,
I know. I have so many people that I know personally, and I know other people know watching this. So I'm just like,
yes.
okay, you can change the name. And yeah, I think the default will probably be to share it anonymously anyway. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that, because I definitely forgot to mention that to protect, your privacy. We'll definitely keep it anonymous. And yeah, I feel pretty good. I'm excited to continue to do this. And yeah, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this. And we'll be talking to you all next week.